factors is tech-driven economic growth, and what we have seen is a very commendable scene. This also looks at the real estate perspective, looking at net absorption as a total over the total stock. Again, where Hyderabad does very well. Hyderabad for the first time crossed some of the challenges which rapid urbanization is leading to, including aspects like congestion, pollution, overcrowding in many of these global cities as you grow real fast. Over to you, Sandeep.
We'll have a formal launch of the report. Now I'll call on dais Samantak Das, Head of Research and Chief Economist for JLL India, to brief every one of us about the report.
Good evening. Is it okay? I think mic is... Am I audible? Okay. Good evening, my journalist friends, Honorable Minister, Principal Secretary, Honorable Mayor, Sandeep, and Ramesh. I will take 5 to 7 minutes because that's the time schedule we are keeping for this presentation. The report is a very in-depth report, as we know, and Ramesh has briefed, Sandeep has briefed. The robustness of this report takes us to a place where this City Momentum Index is now globally a very, very well-recognized parameter indicator for ranking cities. Now, as the term momentum, it's a science term which has speed and direction. That's momentum. So I think what the underlying meaning of this report is, all these cities which are appearing in the top 20 or even the global 130 cities, the speed and direction is, it's pace and the proper direction of the cities. That's what is very important. So quickly, this is, I think it's being briefed that we have analyzed 130 cities globally and 18 parameters in two broad, indicators. One is the economy, socio-economy, another is commercial real estate. So very interesting that these parameters, these broader indicators, they have 18 sub-parameters, which is very important because we should encompass all the facets, all the aspects of economy as well as real estate. So taking all this into account, this index has been formulated. This is an infographic of what I said. So we have a couple of very interesting indicators where this city is faring very, very high, even globally, not even India. Like, for example, the innovation economy. So the capacity to adapt technology, and that's the thing now to take the economy ahead. So here we see that Hyderabad is with Shanghai and Shenzhen globally. So that's very important. Another important parameter I feel, and all of us will agree, that the young population, that's 20 to 40, is the major, I think, the resource base which can take any society, any economy ahead, any city ahead. So I have listed down most of the important parameters. So I'll quickly come to the major top 20 cities that's there in the slide. If you see, we have 7 cities appearing in the top 20 cities globally. So, and the rankings are there. As you know, Hyderabad has emerged as the first, and Bangalore, we have Kolkata and Mumbai. So all the cities are in the top 20 cities, top 20 index cities in globally. So we have from China 5, 7, India. So this is the most common comparison that we are doing these days. In terms of GDP growth, I think Hyderabad has done a great, the GDP growth rate is in 2019, that's the latest forecast of a very, very renowned data source, which is called Oxford Economics, which JLL globally is collaborating with. And we see that 7 to 8% growth in Hyderabad, and top three, and all the three cities, the southern cities are faring very high in the GDP growth. Now, a quick brief on the office market, because that's also one of the core, parameters of this index. The South Indian cities, the top three cities of South India, which is appearing in the top 5 of the global, momentum index, they are more than 50% of the absorption that has happened in 2019. So more than 50%. So that's one thing. Another thing is, if you see the absolute absorption in office space, the neck to neck is Bangalore, Hyderabad. But if you see as a proportion of stock, Hyderabad is number 1 globally also. So if you see the graph on the right hand side, it talks about 19 to 20% of absorption is happening of the entire stock. So if I take stock into consideration, I think Hyderabad is number 1. Quickly coming to the, some of the statistics which my friends may need is the Hyderabad office market. So total stock we have around, as of December 2019, is 62.5, that's around 63 million square feet. Overall vacancy is just 7.2%. So it's a single digit. And net absorption is a record high of 10.5 million square feet. So if I divide the entire Hyderabad into the major business hubs, the business districts, the high-tech city, Gachibowli, they account for 87% of the office stock, with a vacancy level around 5%, which is extremely shows the dynamism of office market in Hyderabad. Rest of the areas, the stock is distributed, the rest 13% is distributed among all the other cities, all the other micro markets. So there also we see the vacancy is not so high in CBD office stock and SBD office stock. Of course, the peripheral business district, as in case of all other cities, is generally at a higher vacancy level. Quickly, this is my penultimate slide, if I'm not mistaken. So creating resilient and responsible city, Hyderabad, some of the very, very important things. Momentum, if you see real estate, net absorption, as I said, globally first, prime rental growth is 9.4% in 2019, the prime rental growth in office market. So it's basically the prime market's growth. Change in transparency, this is derived from the globally recognized JLL Transparency Index. So that's also very high in Hyderabad. Socioeconomic, as I said, the population, the GDP growth, and as Ramesh was mentioning about the initiatives and intervention by the state government is fabulous. Urban planning, it's very famous, sir, Honorable Minister. I mean, it's a Lucist policy, which we have been very much, excited to see how it pans out, because, as Ramesh was saying, that globally also there is a skew towards one geography, like like here we see today, it's West Hyderabad that's very, very focused. With Lucist policy, I'm sure that we will see a good distribution. So it's virtually increasing the city's activities geographically. Infrastructure, you all know how the outer ring road, metro expansion, flyovers, underpasses, these are all mentioned in our global report. Climate resilience, yes, our report has taken cognizance of this, of the fact that this city has been very proactive in environment, in reducing carbon footprint, and that's what we call sustainable development, reducing ultimately the carbon footprint. And the green building initiatives are, number 1, I guess, in this city. So overall, I think, it's really creating resilient and responsible city. That's Hyderabad. Sorry. This is one of the charts that I want to show, that in city momentum index globally, we have just kept it from 2014, and you see from 2015 how Hyderabad has gone up the ranking ladder. So it was just 20th in 2015, could just be in the top 20, but over the time it has come to first. So that's where, this city has grown. And this is just for your reference, the top 130 cities that we have analyzed globally. So this is this is my presentation. I think that's where I end. Thank you. Thank you.
Now I'll request KTR sir, please come and talk a few words. Thank you.
Country head of JLL, Ramesh Nair, Honorable Mayor Hyderabad, Shri Bontu Rammohan Garu, Principal Secretary Industry IT, Jayesh Ranjan Garu, JLL head of Andhra and Telangana, Sandeep Patnaik, Samantak Das, the Chief Economist of JLL, and to all our friends from the media, I thank you, for showing up this late on a Saturday evening. Thank you very much. It's indeed a great pleasure and an honor to release this report where Hyderabad, in fact, for the second time in 3 years, has topped the charts and has been announced by JLL Global as the most dynamic city in their Momentum Index. So, firstly, thank JLL for this, and secondly, let me also point out quickly. I loved the last slide, Samantak. In fact, what was shown there was that in 2014, Hyderabad was not even on the list. Hyderabad was nowhere in the top 20. And then in 2015, I think, we slowly crept in. We got to the 20th slot. And then in 2016, we rose to the 5th position. 2017, we were 3rd. 2018, we topped. 2019, we swapped places with Bangalore, we were 2nd. And 2020, we back right where we belong, on top of the charts. The reason why I say this with a lot of pride is because, this, again, not to blow my own trumpet, but I do have to share an incidental fact that when the new state of Telangana was being formed, there were a lot of doubts, as to what would happen to Hyderabad, how would it, how would it progress, etc., etc. But what this does show you, this Momentum Index does show you is, obviously in 2014, we just got started in June 2014. So we were not part of the list. 2015, we got in with a positive momentum just beginning. And we slowly but steadily rose in the ranks and, rode through the, various facets of governance. And today, I'm delighted that in 2018, 19 and 20, we've been 1, 2 and 1 again. So I'm obviously thrilled, excited, and more importantly, this is not a home. I mean, not to sort of cast any aspersions on the homegrown reports that are released every so often. But I think this is somebody by the name Jeremy Kelly, who is the author of this, and Rupert Davies. They're all headquartered in Chicago in the US. They've analyzed 130 cities across the world, and along with Oxford Economies and UN data, they've used, in fact, several other research data available across the world. And together with all these credible agencies, JLL Global has painstakingly compiled this report and has come out with this, and I'm thrilled and excited that Hyderabad has been acknowledged and Hyderabad has been recognized. Now, what is even more heartening for me from my ministry's perspective, from my, my own personal passion of promoting innovation. You all remember in 2015, we launched T-Hub. In fact, myself and Jayesh Ranjan, we keep doing a lot of events related to innovation. We keep talking about, we keep referring to our state as a startup state, etc., etc. So what is exciting and thrilling for me is when Ramesh and Samantak and Sandeep had mentioned innovation economy and how Hyderabad, according to this research report, were able to, thank you. Thank you. And more importantly, in India, we are number one on that innovation economy front as well. And I was also informed that 50% of the weightage was from the commercial real estate and 50% for the various socio-economic indicators. Well, commercial real estate, of course, will continue to happen with business expansion, with innovative policies like TSI Pass coming in, with our focus on innovation economy, and with the state government, advocating proactive policies. Obviously, investments will continue to pour in is what I would hope. And tomorrow, in fact, I'm leaving for Davos, and obviously this will come in handy because I can obviously flaunt this a bit and show off a bit that Hyderabad is actually the number one state, number one city on the Momentum Index. Another thing I wanted to point out quickly: 50% of the weightage, while it comes from the commercial real estate, which happens by way of attracting investments, what is even more heartening is the socio-economic indicators, which also add 50% to the weightage. And that includes engine room population. Engine room population, apparently, I've never heard this term. This is the first time I'm hearing it. It's an American term, I'm told. So anybody in the age group of 20 to 40, apparently the productive lot. I'm 43, so I'm obviously not. So the 20 to 40 age group, the engine room population apparently is quite high in Hyderabad. In fact, we are number one on that as well. And I'm delighted that 40% of Hyderabad's population is in this 20 to 40 age group. So again, all other cities in India, all the other 7 or other 6, in fact, that are featured in top 20 are less than 40, and Hyderabad is above 40. That's also another huge demographic advantage which goes our way, and I think that will continue to help us, push our innovation economy, push our advantage with respect to the demographic dividend that we keep talking about. Also, economic output, retail sales, air connectivity, corporate headquarters, foreign direct investments, etc., etc. So these are all the socio-economic momentum indicators or variables that JLL Global has factored. And I'm delighted that not only on the commercial real estate, which of course is JLL's main business, but also on the socio-economic front, Hyderabad seems to be doing well. Telangana as a state also seems to be doing well. And what is even more thrilling and exciting is, out of the 130 cities globally, this is not an Indian city, it is not a face-off between Indian cities. This is a face-off between 130 cities globally, and Hyderabad has come out on the top for 3 years in a row. So excited, thrilled. Thank you, JLL, for this. But obviously, this also means our work is cut out. We also have to start planning more infrastructure as the city grows, as the city continues with its momentum. We also have to, myself and Mayor, we both have our task cut out, and we both have to do a lot more work. We'll continue to do that, of course. And what this also offers to us as a state is, answers to all those questions that were posed about 5 years ago. Whether Telangana would thrive, whether Telangana would progress, whether Hyderabad, what would happen to Hyderabad, etc., etc. This answers a lot of detractors at home, and also not my home, as in Telangana, and you know what I mean, at home.